It's a pleasure coming your way again. Thank you for staying with us on the AM show. Let's now dig into our big stories for today. Joining us for the discussion as we look at the carnage on our roads, Parliament is calling for a national conversation on that. 232 lives lost just from January and 1,237 people injured. We'll bring you details of that and what exactly the next move is. We'll also talk about our economy, of course, the E-Levy also in the picture, and more. Now, our guest this morning, Murtala Mohammed, is Member of Parliament, Tamale Central. We also have Collins Adomako Mensah, Member of Parliament for Ifija Kwabre North. He joins the conversation later as well. Murtala, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, bro. Good morning to Cherish.
You don't sound to have your usual pep this morning. Is it because you've not had your Hausa Koko yet? The Hausa Koko hasn't happened.
Really, I haven't had my Hausa Koko yet.
You see, I can tell. It's my crystal ball. Anyway, so let's dig into the issues. And today, I want us to really go on the issues, because when it comes to the roads bid, for example, so many dynamics, but we're almost where we were last year. And if you're not making progress, it can only mean that you're static or retrogressing. But let's start on a lighter note, on the note of a birthday, on the note of an E-Levy cake.
Well, I saw it. I was flabbergasted.
You were flabbergasted?
Honestly, to say the least. And we were in Kumasi last weekend. We were actually looking at the bill regulating the works at the Ghana Standard Authority.
Right.
It falls under the Ministry of Trade. And as a member of the Trade Committee, it is our duty and our responsibility to look at it. Interestingly, it's a bill that I worked on as a Deputy Minister for Trade in 2016.
Right. Unfortunately,
we couldn't pass it. The 7th Parliament, they did some work on it and they couldn't. As the Parliament, life ends. If a new Parliament comes, you have to start all again.
Yeah.
So we are determined to have this bill passed because it helps the work of the Ghana Standard Authority, and it gives them that level of independence and the ability to generate enough revenue to run. So we finished with the Accra, the southern part, stakeholder meetings. So we're in Kumasi.
Right.
And I remember one of our colleagues told, in fact, the Deputy Minister for Trade, who was also present because he represented the minister on it. And he said that he was going to town because they were celebrating the birthday of the
majority leader.
Right. So I thought it was like the normal birthday. Maybe I don't celebrate birthdays.
Well, what is the normal birthday? It's a birthday party, it's a birthday bash.
I really don't celebrate birthday.
Okay.
So I consider it to just be a normal birthday, particularly these times. The economic excruciating, conditions under which we have been subjected to by this government because of the inept. Now you have the majority leader who did what he did. I don't know who is advising.
What did he do?
Why?
He had a birthday bash. Yes, the vice president and the second lady were there.
That makes the case even worse. That you have the vice president. You are building consensus. You are still trying to appeal to our consciences to understand why you think that we should approve or pass the E-Levy. Parliament, we have made our position very clear.
Right.
Even after you have submitted it to
you in the opposition have made
we have made our
stance clear.
We are not
after all, it splits right through the middle, right down the middle.
We are not the only people who have made our position very clear. Even there are members of the MPP who have made their position very clear. Why is it that there is a particular member who is not attending, proceedings in Parliament? If the person never made...
Would you like to reference this member?
Oh, well, I think that the Deputy Minister for Trade said that Adjoa Safo is more frustrated.
I just wanted you to mention
I'm saying that I have had several members of MPs, and this one, God is my witness, who have told me, Murtala, the E-Levy, you people should not allow this to go on. I've had a senior member of MPP who told me...
Can you mention names?
I wouldn't do that because that won't be fair. A senior member who told Murtala, E-Levy, no, Mama pass it. So there are members of Parliament who are against this because it is affecting their constituents. It is affecting the generality of the people of this country. It is not fair as a tax instrument. It exerts more pressure and burden on the poor than the rich. Now, you want us to agree with you. And for which reason you are even holding town hall meetings, trying to convince the people of this country to buy the idea to accept the e-levy. Yet the same person who is advocating for consensus building, who is advocating for the people of this country to agree with them, even though it simply doesn't make sense, you go and celebrate your birthday and you mock the people of this country. That was mockery of the people of this country.
What if I told you that the reports we're getting, even from the majority leader himself, suggest that they did not make this cake? Yeah. There was an official cake, and indeed you would see pictures of another cake that he's cutting at his 65th birthday bash with the vice president and the second lady, and they point to the fact that that was the official cake, but that the e-levy cake was, brought by someone. It was donated.
The majority leader, unfortunately,
it was a gift.
The majority leader, unfortunately, has many friends, including myself. The only person he refused consistently to be a friend with is Truth.
It's Truth.
It's Truth, yes.
You're suggesting the majority leader is untruthful.
Are you the only person who is on this earth, or you just came from Kosomokaya?
You are impugning his personality.
This same majority leader told the people of this country. He looked into our faces and told us that the day the first deputy speaker attempted to vote, that he wasn't going to vote, he was just going to use the washroom. This same majority leader, you witnessed what happened in the voting in the elections of the speaker. I mean, things that everybody saw. He came out and said something different. He said we never had any elections, and that in that elections we had to choose the speaker, that there wasn't any winner. So I'm saying that he has many friends, including myself. He's been a very good friend of mine. The only person he refused consistently to be a friend with is the Truth. So why would he tell us this? Now, if someone even brought that cake to you as the majority leader, who is trying to negotiate, not just with NDC members of parliament, but the generality of the people of this country, he ought to have known, he ought to have been sensitive enough that this would anger people. So this excuse of that this wasn't the cake we wanted to use, this cake was brought to me. Now, if they bring such a cake to you, must you use it? If I have my birthday to celebrate, and in my constituency people don't have water to drink, and in my birthday someone brought Voltic water or any of the plastic water, started sprinkling the water when I don't have water in my constituency, and I said, oh, someone brought it, and that is why I accepted that to happen. It tells you the level of the insensitivity of this government. It tells you the mockery. And in fact, what makes it more serious is that the vice president was there and his wife. He ought to have told him, we are at the stage where we are...
Now you're accusing the vice president as well, who was merely a guest.
I don't need to accuse him. He's the vice president of the Republic of Ghana, for God's sake. And he's one of the leaders of the NPP as a party. Now, if the vice president and the majority leader, who are pleading with Ghanaians, doing la su la la, they are begging us to agree with that insensitive, tax regime.
Right.
You are doing that. Minority is saying that, look, we are not agreeing. Convince us. You are going around holding town hall meetings, driven to Kofori with about 32 Land Cruisers to beg people and allow the Land Cruisers to run 4 hours. You never put out the engine 4 hours. You are doing this. And then what you do to the people of this country, you mock us them all. You see, it is not surprising that you have had leading members of this government who have said that if you can do a momo of 100 Ghana cedis and above, you can't claim to be poor. We had Esela Usu make that statement.
Okay.
So what they are doing,
right,
they are mocking us.
All right.
And they are mocking us.
They are mocking you.
Absolutely.
Let me get the response of Collins Adomakomenta, Member of Parliament for Ifija Kwabre North. Thank you so much, Collins, for joining the conversation. Maybe you need to unmute, Collins, so we can hear you.
Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes. It's a pleasure to have you, Collins. Thank you for joining.
And I'm sorry for not being in the studio. I had to rush the constituency for an equally important event.
Understandable. Since you mentioned the constituency, how is Ifija Kwabre North? How are you doing? What's the latest?
Oh, unfortunately, I'm on my way to attend to a funeral. 3 young kids passed away just last week. And the families have decided to bury them on the same day. Very unfortunate. And so,
what happened though?
Two of them were just natural death. They just happened to die naturally. I mean, they went to the room, they let them lie in there. I don't know whether it was a heart attack or anything. So it's very, very unfortunate. I'm on my way. I'm mourning. You can see me in black at the moment.
Our condolences. We feel your pain, and thank you so much, in spite of that, for agreeing to speak to us. But was it a crime that the majority leader, had an E-Levy cake? Whether he asked for it to be made or it was donated, it was gifted to him. Is it wrong to have a cake with E-Levy around this time? How do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, let me say good morning to yourself and to my very good friend Mutala. I was at the party. I was present at the party. And let me say that the majority leader is someone, even before I came to Parliament, someone I admire so well.
Of course.
Collins, Adumako Mensah's connection a bit patchy right now, but we'll try to remedy that and get back to him so that we can have his take on this matter. Collins, you can go ahead now, if you can hear me.
Okay, so I can hear you very clearly. Can you hear me?
I can hear you too. Go ahead.
Okay, so as I made the point earlier, the majority leader is someone I admired so much, even before I came to Parliament. And my admiration for him has even grown stronger since I entered Parliament. Now, my brother Mutala makes the point that the majority leader is a hypocrite, he's a liar, he's not truthful, and all kinds of very, very unpalatable.
Well, just to clarify, Collins, just to be fair, I didn't hear him mention hypocrite and all of that. The only word I heard him use was untruthful. You can stick to that. He said he was untruthful.
My brother, I heard him very clear.
Did I say he's a hypocrite?
Well,
majority leader and members of the MP.
Well, the conversation stalling there on the back of technology. We'll try to see what we can do, and if it's possible to have him on the phone lines as well. If that will better the situation, we'll do that. But coming back to you, Collins, can you hear me? All right. We'll try to reconnect with Collins.
I think he's back.
Collins, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I'm on phone now. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes, way better. So just start with the second part of what you were saying about the untruthfulness. We can take it from there.
I heard my brother talk about, describe the majority leader as a liar, and that he's somebody who's untruthful. And then he made the point that the NPP is demonstrating a level of hypocrisy, and that we are on a road trying to convince Ghanaians to accept the E-Levy, and at the same time mocking Ghanaians with a cake. If there's anybody who is a hypocrite, it is my brother Mutala. He claims that if he's having a birthday party and somebody brings him water and all that, he will listen to the plight of the people. He drives in a V8 to his constituency. I'm sure he could have still gone with a bus. Why does he go to the constituency with a V8 when he could have gone there with a bus? I was there. I was at the function. Indeed, there were two cakes. The original cake that came to for the majority leader was the one we've all seen, and that was what was cut by the vice president and the second lady with the majority leader and some members of parliament. And I was there myself. Indeed, when the E-cake came, the vice president was not even around. The vice president had exited. So I just want to plead with my brother. Sometimes some of these words are quite difficult to respond to. He knows the majority leader, and he claims to know him very well, and that he's his friend. I'm not too sure you can describe your friend as untruthful. I'm not too sure you can describe your friend as a liar. I'm not too sure you can describe your friend as a hypocrite. As I said, if he really, really believes in the plight of Ghanaians, he should get out from his V8 and pick a bus in his constituency. This level of hypocrisy cannot continue. When this issue of even car loans came, some members of his party were claiming that, MPs don't need V8. When behind the scenes, they are gone to accept the loan and take the BCA. If there's anybody who is a hypocrite, he himself and his colleagues should be the hypocrite. And
all right.
not the majority.
Let me just ask you.
Wrong.
Right.
I don't see anything wrong if somebody surprises you at your birthday party with a cake designed as E-Levy. The majority leader had absolutely no idea of the cake. And I said I was at the party myself. I was at the party.
So let's just clarify, Collins. You're suggesting the majority leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu, had no idea that this cake had showed up. I have seen videos with extensive coverage. I don't know who allowed that or permitted that, the cake being shot, photos here and there. And you're suggesting he had no inkling that this cake even existed. And to make maybe matters worse, the bit about how it was shown and put out there, that is what has raised the angst of some people, their anger about an E-Levy cake and the prominence it was given. The original cake you speak of was not given that prominence out there.
Of course, obviously, the media will show that the E-Levy cake. Everybody was amused. I was amused myself. But I can confidently tell you that the majority leader had absolutely no idea that this cake, which has been created in the E-Levy form, was even coming to the party.
Can you share with us? Do you have an idea who made the cake, who brought the cake? Do you have any idea?
I don't have that idea, but I can tell you for a fact that the majority, even he himself, when it was brought to him, he was surprised. He was surprised, and I was there. I was at the party. So this issue about the majority leader being a hypocrite, mocking Ghanaians, I don't know where this is coming from. Obviously, when the pictures came out, people have put more attention on the E-Levy because of the way it appeared. And as I said, I myself, I was surprised and I was amused. So he himself, he was surprised. We all burst into laughter when we all saw it.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so
that was not the plan of the majority leader. He did not request for an E-Levy cake. His wife did not prepare any E-Levy cake. It was brought there surprisingly to him just to create some amusement. There was nothing really to show that we are mocking Ghanaians.
So ordinary Ghanaians from, and you can go and read on our portal online, on Facebook, on social media and others, ordinary Ghanaians did not find it amusing. You say, hold on. Let me make this point. You say you felt it was something that would cause amusement, and I mean, ordinary Ghanaians have not taken it in an amusing manner or on an amusing note. And you speak of how, I mean, it was brought in and maybe the majority leader didn't see it, but you did, apparently. Did you realize how serious it was? Or did you think it was amusing, so you just let it go? I mean, if some of your members there had realized that people would take it this way, why didn't you just maybe call for it to be taken off and we could have avoided this entire scandal?
To be very, very frank with you, the way even the cake was brought in, nobody could have even said in it. It was brought in as a surprise. And this was after the majority leader had cut his cake, his 65th birthday cake with the vice president. The vice president had exited. So it was just the members of parliament and some few family friends who were there. And everybody was surprised. It is the twist that the NDC have given to it that is causing all this problem. I really, when I saw it at that particular moment, did not even imagine that it could turn out this way, that our friends from the NDC will bring it up as a propaganda tool and claim that the majority leader and members of the MPP are mocking Ghana. How will a cake, an E-Levy cake, be equated to we members of parliament and from the majority side be mocking Ghanaians? How would we do that? This is a policy that we are pushing to pass in parliament and going around to explain to people. Why would we be mocking Ghanaians at the same time? But the point I want to make is that I want to plead with my brother. The kind of invective that he has used on the basis of this this E-Levy cake on the majority leader is very, very unfair. Very, very, very unfair. Especially when he had absolutely no idea that this cake was even going to come to him. Very, very unfair.
Well, I do have a photo here, one of the photos where you would actually see the majority leader eagerly, about to cut the E-Levy cake that he wasn't aware of, that you say he wasn't aware of. There's a photo here with a lot of you others, and it's one of the stories we actually put up. And supposedly the majority leader is there, supposedly, in a smock, supposedly.
I've never said that.
And
I've not made the point that the majority leader did not see the cake. I am saying that after he has cut his cake, his original 16th birthday cake, then this was brought in as a surprise. And we were all there.
Okay.
It surprised everybody.
Tell me, on hindsight, right? Do you suppose if you had been sensitive to the fact that this would create such a furore, would you have cut the cake, allowed pictures to be taken and all that, or would you have just ushered the cake into some corner?
Well, for the pictures being taken, I mean, there was a function. So obviously all that was going on, pictures were being taken. I, on hindsight, would have felt that these pictures wouldn't have been released. I don't even know who released the pictures, especially with the kind of interpretation that has been put to it, especially from my friends from the NDC and the kind of twist that is brought to it. On hindsight, I would have wished that the pictures were not being shown. But my brother, practically, at that particular moment, I don't think you expected that the majority that when he saw it, to have said, no, don't take pictures. I can't cut the cake. This is an E-Levy cake. I can't cut it. No, it couldn't have happened that way. Especially when it was brought in as a surprise and everybody burst into laughter. Hey, E-Levy. I mean, I want to plead with my brothers. This constant twisting of issues and making the majority leader look like a liar, like an untruthful person, it must stop. This is a man I have known all my life. A man I've been following even before I came to Parliament. A man who has served his constituents, has served the nation, a colossus of a politician, a parliament. He's not the longest serving member of Parliament currently. And for you to come on a TV and because of political inclination to describe him as a liar, as untruthful, and describe the political party that he belongs to as hypocrite, I think this is totally unfair. And that is the point I want to make.
Collins, hold it right there. We'll be getting into the conversation about roads. This was just a passerby comment that I brought in. But I know, Mutala, that you want to respond to this. I'll give you a minute and a half. Not extensively, because we must move on.
First and foremost, it is not true that he's the longest serving member of Parliament today. That is another lie. And I want to be blunt. Cletus Avoka has been in Parliament since 1992. So that is utterly not true. He didn't come to Parliament before Collins Dauda. That is again utterly not true. And again, this business of why I use V8 to my constituency, and he said that there were some members of NDC who spoke against the V8, yet we went in for the V8. I never spoke against it. As a matter of fact, I defended the need for members of Parliament to access the car loans. And you remember, there was some problem between myself and my brother, Honorable Oku Jeto. So for you to make that statement that I did this just to make a point, I think that is just unfortunate. But clearly, maybe he wasn't following. On the floor of Parliament, I defended the need for members of Parliament to be given the car loans because I stated that yes, those who live in
I recall you did
and even on your program. So where is he getting this cooked up story from? When I said that he is a friend to many people except truth, you asked me and I gave you reasons. I said one, in the matter of the first deputy speaker, when everybody knew and the first deputy speaker himself had indicated on the floor that he was going to vote and for which reason he was rising from the seat of the speaker, this same majority leader granted interview and said no, he was going to use the washroom. He said it did not force him. And two, another issue in the matter of the elections of the speaker, everybody knew what happened. He said that no, there was an agreement, there wasn't any elections. Elections that were captured on TV. He said there wasn't any election, there was an agreement that we should just allow Bagwin to be made the speaker. Did anybody force him? Now, this story should be told to the Marines. The idea that they brought the E-Levy cake, first and foremost, he said he wasn't even aware. He was not even listening to himself. That the way they brought it. Yet when you confronted him with pictures, a picture that was taken by the majority leader ready to cut the cake. He says that he couldn't have avoided it.
Well, the picture wasn't taken by the majority.
No, picture that was taken
purportedly has.
I said the picture that was taken with the majority leader taking the cake. He is in that picture. Are you getting the point I'm making? And you remember when he was talking, I asked you, but there's a picture where the majority leader is standing before the cake. And I asked that because he said that he was not even aware of the thing. Now, the point I made was that the sensitivity or the sensibility of the people, of the sensitiveness, okay, of that issue, and under the prevailing circumstances, that you are asking us to agree with you and pass the E-Levy. You are asking the people of this country to agree with you and support the E-Levy, and for which reason you are organizing town hall meetings even after you have submitted the bill of tax in Parliament, which has now become a document of Parliament. You are going around doing that, yet you do this. Now it means that, go to your portal, and I was happy you made reference to him. Those who are angry over this are all NDC members. What they do strategically, that anytime NDC raises issues about their inept, about their attitude, they and other people also raise that. They reduce it to an NDC MPP ball game, because that is the game they play best. So what he's simply doing, let me reduce it to an NDC MPP thing so that we can whittle it down. The people of this country are angry. The people of this country are saying that we are not accepting E-Levy. You are still trying to convince us to accept E-Levy. You do this. Was he forced? Was he forced to cut the cake? If someone brings a cake to me, and I know that this cake would affect, will anger people, I won't do it. When we asked him, he himself said that from hindsight, maybe he would have entreated that they don't take these pictures. It means that Ab initio, he knew that taking pictures of this would anger people. He knew. Because if he didn't know that this could anger people, why would he say that perhaps they shouldn't have taken those pictures? Nobody forced the majority leader and all of you who were there to take the pictures. Nobody forced you to mock the people of this country. And what you have done, go and read, not just on Joy, any other portal, majority of the people of this country, by the way, who you describe to be NDC people, because anybody who criticizes your policy is an NDC person. Their position is that resolutely, you are mocking us. And it is not just that mockery. I have stated a member of parliament and a senior member in this government, and a minister of state, who says that if you can make a momo, of 100 Ghana cedis and above, you can't claim to be poor. Go and find out the young ladies cleaning our offices. They are paid 400 Ghana cedis a month. Such a young lady has her mother in a village who is sick. And they need 200 Ghana cedis to take the mother to hospital. Right. And the young lady decides that her 400 Ghana cedis, she is taking momo of 200 Ghana cedis to the mother. Such a person is rich. Stop this mockery. And instead of you apologizing to the people of this country, you come here attacking. I never use the word hypocrite. Never. And I challenge you to provide the evidence. What I use. I said that he's a friend to everybody, including myself. The only friend he refuses consistently to be with is truth.
Right, it's getting heated up. It's hotting up, if you like, on interestingly, the matter of a cake and sensitivity as far as Ghanaians are concerned. Collins, shall we move the conversation forward?
No, it's important that I make...
Or would you like to chip in? I'm seeing that. I just want to be fair here.
By the way,
can you do 1 minute?
My condolences to the bereaved family.
Right.
That is what I should have.
If you have any top-up comments, Collins, 1 minute. 1 minute. Let's do this.
Thank you so much, Mutala, for the condolences. Mutala talked about the fact that Chairman Sabonso is not the longest serving, and that led to Saboka.
You said the only. He said the longest serving. If you say he's one of the longest serving, agree. No, but don't say he's the longest serving.
No, Cletus Saboka lost election.
It doesn't matter.
He lost election.
It doesn't matter.
He lost election. He lost election.
When Cletus was in, let's not have a back and forth.
But when Cletus was in Parliament, he wasn't there.
You are in the studio. You have the benefit of, let Collins go ahead. He's on phone. Go ahead.
Chairman Sabonso has been in Parliament from 97 to date.
Good. Right.
He's the longest. And so if you say I am a liar for making this claim, I don't get where you're coming from. I'm saying Chairman is the longest member of Parliament currently in Parliament.
Right.
He's the only member of Parliament who has been there from 97 to date. And that is a fact. And I am not a liar for saying that. Again, he claimed that in one breath I said that the majority leader was not aware, but they've seen him cut the cake. My brother, I never said majority leader didn't cut the cake. And I've seen the pictures myself because I was there. I am saying that the majority leader was never aware that the cake in the shape of an E-Levy was going to come up. He never knew that.
But why did he take the
I was found on
pictures?
him. He never knew.
All right.
So the claim that he knew about it and that he's working Ghana, I'm saying it's not true. He did not know. It was a surprise. That's the point I'm making.
So he was in a different world when he was cutting the cake. He never knew.
My brother, I'm saying he never knew the cake was going to come. I've never said disputed the
Was he
pictures
forced to
that
take the
come up.
pictures?
I'm not. You are twisting the whole issue.
No, I'm saying that was he
Everything
forced to
like
take the pictures?
He has done something that is so abominable, that is so dangerous.
That is what the people of this country are saying, not me.
It is you. You started it. You started twisting the issues.
Even before we
And creating all kinds of innuendos about this thing.
All right, gentlemen. Let's move the conversation forward. Thank you very much.
Before we started this program, the Ghanaian people have given their verdict. Go to my Joy online. Go. I mean, people have given their verdict. I'm just re-echoing the position of the people of this country. Why do you want to reduce it to an NDC MP?
Okay, Mutala, if we continue like this, we'll end up talking about
it's not good for
a green cake with an E-Levy shape.
There's even a green.
Why
did you even use our colors? If you want to mock Ghanaians, why are you using the NDC color of green to mock Ghanaians?
Are you seriously doing this?
They are using our colors.
Please don't. Let's move the conversation forward. And that was on a lighter note.